Hey guys, it's Paul Jang. I'm going to share with you the top 10 places to invest in Texas. Now, this is definitely not exhaustive. Um, I'm just going to show you some of my thinking on this process, but I'm using LandWatch. In terms of investing, I like to be in somewhere between $10,000 to $40,000 in sales price. There are people that go to a higher amount, but generally those properties take longer to sell. There's more room for error. Usually, a lot of people want to do tests, right? A delineation test or a perk test, for septics, check on utility lines, like all these water wells, right? Like they want to check up on more of these things that you might not necessarily be ready for. Um, and it's just a lot more due diligence. So I think staying within this price range, I've kind of come to the conclusion is kind of the best point, I think, for most people, unless you start specializing in a certain thing. Um, but like getting into subdividing or something like that, right? Or deeper, land development stuff. So the top 10, like, so my mindset is kind of like be where other people are. Well, if other people are kind of in these counties, that means that there's people here that are making money off of these counties. So here's 10: Hill, Henderson, El Paso, Leon, Hood, Hudspeth, Palo, Burnett, Johnson. That's 10. I'm gonna say Wood. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, and Smith. Okay. The one thing over here is Hudspeth County. I'll take that out. There's one thing with Hudspeth County that people don't account for, and you'll have to check these for certain counties. I know this specifically for Hudspeth because I've invested in here. It is really difficult to use software to locate property. Um, so what I mean by that is if you know where's this property, it's real difficult to find. So this is this a real estate agent, right? Getting this GPS coordinate, you see that's like you made it real small. Okay, getting these boundary lines, it is really difficult. I haven't really found a really good way to locate it. I've reached out to surveyors to help me locate properties in the past, but it's real difficult. So Hudspeth would be one that I wouldn't consider for land investing. I mean, you could go there. There's people that make money there. It's much more difficult to find the property. So I'd stay away from that one. But here's my mindset. So this is at 10 to 40,000, right? And let's say in Texas, this is kind of the range. So from here, I would figure out what is my price point that I feel comfortable with investing. So, if you want to self close, work with cheaper lots, you're going to be closer to the 10,000 mark. If you don't want to self close, you want to use a title company, make sure all the T's and I's are dotted and crossed. Like you want to maybe consider being on the higher end of things, right? Because whenever let me just show you, if you stick with the 10 to, let's say, 15,000, um, a quarter of 10,000 is, 2,500. A quarter of 15, so it's half is 7,500. Half of that is like 3,750. At these price points, you are basically looking to self close because using a title company is going to cost you an extra 1,500, $1,800, right? And that's going to eat into your margins. So at this price point, you're looking to close really quickly. Probably use your own cash or borrow money from a HELOC or a line of credit of some sort, and you're gonna basically flip these. So if I wanted 10 to 15 and self close, I would add this, and then I would look at what counties are here. So one cool thing over here, just with Texas, over here in the southern parts, you'll find more desert as well as on the west. Over here, kind of in that central spot, is San Antonio. So San Antonio, right over here, Hill Country. This is like pretty expensive land. Houston's over here on the right. Dallas is closer towards the north side. And then that east side I kind of found is like it's pretty good for hunting. There's like trees and stuff. So if you there's I'll talk about land investors for two types of people, right? There's land investors like me. I don't care if it's desert land. I don't care if it's hunting land. I don't care if it's in the city. What I want is land that I could buy at the price that I want, and if I buy it at the price that I want, I am going to sell it. So um, that's kind of my mindset. And then, so if that's the case, you just run based on these selling points. Where am I going to use a title company, work with bigger lots, get higher margins, but slower sales, or am I going to work with cheaper lots, self close on them, and kind of roll that way, right? And it's just kind of where you are. I'd say if you're new, maybe stick with some of the smaller lots. You get proof of concept. You feel more comfortable. You're not putting all your eggs in one big piece of land, but you're separating into multiple lots. So, um, so in that case, here you get a couple. You got Leon, El Paso, Hill County, Henderson, Cherokee Hood, Jasper, Brewster, right? You got these counties that you could focus on. People that are making money, right? Let me go to Hood County. Yeah, there's people here in Hood County that are making deals, and these are small lots, right? So like we got here point 4 acres is 15,000. Yeah, so I'd stick, somewhere between yeah, point one to like point 0.5, right? Somewhere there. If you wanted to actually put a minimum, let's say a minimum 1 acre, you could change the counties over here. So let's take out county and region. So if you look over here, if you don't want to work with two small lots, well, these are the different counties that you could work in, right? And so you have Brewster, Hudspeth, El Paso, Culberson, Ward, Jeff Davis, Cass. Let's see here, Cass. Yeah, so you got here 1 acres you're going for 13,500, right? So, as long as you find, somewhere, something cheaper than 13,500 at 1 acres, you'll do okay, right? So that's kind of how I go about it. Generally, I look, to have at least a couple more listings. I want closer to, between five and up. Um, and you're gonna have to kind of play your stuff out. So Cast might be a place where it's a lot less competitive. There might not be as many people reaching out to them. That means an opportunity for you, right? If you want to work in some of the more competitive areas, well, there's definitely deals there, right? Just know that there's more competition, right? And that's not bad. So you might want to, choose somewhere in the middle ground over here, right? Um, that's kind of how I think about it. And then if you like Texas, like this is kind of on the cheaper end for stuff. Let's go to closer to 20,000 and up. Let's do 20,000. So at 20,000, you are looking at using a title company, right? So, if you buy something, if a quarter of this is 5,000, so let's say between 5 to 10,000, if you pick up lots around there and you double it for cash, you made money, right? Or let's say you bought something for 5,000, something that's worth 20, you got most of your money back in a down payment and you got owner financing, right? So here are some of the counties that you could work in: Hudspeth, Ector, Andrew, Hockley, Palo Pinto, Jones, Lamar, El Paso. So you see the higher amount. So every state will have different price ranges. Every state will have all price ranges. It just for certain states you might be working with much smaller lots, and then other states you might be working with bigger lots based on your price range. So these are some of the counties that you'd go with. Like this is kind of where I'd feel more comfortable in with Texas. Like any one of these, right? I feel pretty comfortable in investing in. So like if you look over here, let's just say Jones County. So we got 4 acres is 40, 3 acres is 30, 2 acres is 26, right? So between 2 and 4 acres, they're kind of going between 8 to 10,000 per acre. So if you're picking stuff up at 2,500 an acre, or like 3,000, 4,000 an acre, you're going to do really well, right? That's kind of how I think about it. So this would be, let's say, if this is 10,000 an acre, 2,500 a quarter. Let's say $3,000 an acre if you buy it, so that's $12,000. If you pick up 4 acres for $12,000, you're going to be doing really well. Even at 3 acres, if you picked up something for 12,000, there's a margin there for you to make money, right? You could be competitive with what else is out in the market. I tried, looking at soil comps and things like that, but I kind of realized like people are going to go with before they choose anything else, they're gonna choose land that's on the cheaper end of stuff, and then from there, if they really don't like the land, then they'll go up into some of the other lots, right? But I think being competitive with what else is out there, it's that's going to be your competition whenever you sell. If you are going to be listing it like on LandWatch or the MLS, if you're going to do Facebook ads or something like that, you don't really have those. That competition as much, but you'll be working with a lot more people, right? And their intent would be different. So here's what I think about for those that are looking for land banking. Land banking is basically you are picking it up, for future appreciation value. You think it's gonna, become worth more money over time, something of that sort. So let me just show you. So let me go here, Texas. So let me take out the dollar amounts. So there's two different ways to think about it. Either if you're kind of looking at appreciation, you're going to stick around with like a city. So I used to live in San Antonio, and this area, Hill Country, is like pretty expensive. It gets a little bit cheaper when you go a little bit south. But if it's an hour or two away, like as the city expands, you're going to have builders start building, um, in the outer rims of it, and that property is becoming more and more expensive. So you like if you're at Houston, sure, you might want to pick up something in Pinewood, South Texas, because that land is eventually going to become more and more expensive. So you could pick up things for 17 acres at 21,000 right now, right? So like if you just think about it, if I go to Newton County for Texas and I buy something between five to like $10,000, I'm gonna do okay, right? I'm gonna get my money back, reinvest it, or get it for owner financing. I'd probably stay closer to like the 7,000 range, like 5,000 to maybe $8,000. Um, but there's like deals out here, right? So it looks like over here they got you'll find with LandWatch, you have to be careful. There's the ones that pay for advertising, but then you'll also find people that, let me see here. Let's just say between 20 to 40,000. So if you look over here, by the way, there's people that specifically focus on bigger lots. You just have to get much better with due diligence. But here you go. Okay, so see over here, there is a big gap over here. So these are people that are paying for advertising, and then over here is people that are posting in the MLS, and they aren't necessarily paying for LandWatch to advertise. So if you'll see on the MLS, you got here property at 25,000, right, for 3 acres. Now that's misleading because this girl Karen is selling 2 acres for 37,900. Right? What's going on here? Either this spot over here is much better. Okay, we got here Polk County. Oh, okay, this is Pinewoods. Okay, so what you will want to do is be a little bit more specific. So let's do Polk. So this is 2 acres for 35,000, right? And then 1.29 for 23, a 1 acre for 30, right? So I think you should, buy it well from the get go. But if this is 1 acre for 30 and 1.29 for 23, well, you want to go for the 1 acre 23 or the 2.32 for the 35. right? Or even this one, 2 acres for 32. Something there. See if there's road access. See if it's good. See if it's in a line where you think it might grow, and just hold that property. Um, you could sell it later on, maybe use it for yourself, maybe park your RV for a bit at times, use it for recreational use. If it's a little bit bigger properties, you might be able to hunt. I know for certain states, they tend to put limits on it, usually at 5 acres, but I know in other places there isn't necessarily a limit. So if there's a deer that crosses your way, you can get it. You'll want to check your zoning for that, but that's from my own experience. But that's kind of how I run through it. The Your price point really determines which counties you should invest in, and then you use the information already out there to see what other people are doing, um, and adjust your prices, your marketing, your research based on that. So that's just how I think about things. And those were the 10 places in Texas, right? I showed you a little bit more than that, showed you the process, but that's kind of how I think about it. In the description below is our land course. It is how my wife and myself were able to quit our jobs. There is a link there also for JV partnerships, as well as a Facebook coaching thing. If you ever needed, someone to run to, I could be that person for you. But that's it. Take care. Have a good one.